Breaking news into our newsroom, and this is what we have been waiting for all morning long, and it involves that man and that man and this conference. Do we have Heather standing by here, guys? Let's let her break the news because it's her story. Let's bring Heather and Paul into it. Go ahead, Heather. The floor is yours. What is the news this morning?
Good morning. Sources have confirmed that the Big Ten is expected to announce this morning that football is back. The date is still in the air. I'm not sure if it's going to be October 17th or October 24th, but Greeny, I can confirm that Big Ten football is coming back.
Big Ten football coming back in mid-October. For those who are just joining us, Heather, catch everyone up on how we got here. On August 11th, they announced that they will not play, and they were talking about a spring season. Here we are about a month later. How did we get from there to here?
Well, there was certainly political and public pressure, but the 14 presidents and chancellors said they would not be swayed by that. The bigger topic I think we will hear a lot about today is going to be the changes in the medical information. Remember, Michigan State, you're talking about an epidemiologist and an infectious disease expert, right? So the medical information had to be buttoned up and changed in order for this decision to be made. I know that over the weekend they were presented with at least 4 new antigen tests for daily rapid testing results and also helping them with the contact tracing. I think the question is, and also going back to that date, October 17th or 24th, how quickly can they actually procure those tests? It took the Pac-12 a while to get them on each campus. So that could be part of the equation. There are still a lot of questions to be answered, but Greeny, to me, that is the number one, is the differences in the medical information help sway the presidents.
I think the number one question that most fans will have is, can they get a representative season in time to compete with the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC and try to get into the college football playoff? I literally just pulled out my calendar. If they start on October 17th, it's 10 weeks until the college football playoff selection special, which is set for December 20th. What is the plan, as far as you know it, about what they will do for a season?
Well, I haven't confirmed the exact plan, to be honest, but sources have said that they would like an 8-game season, 8 or 9 game season, with the conference championship game being on December 19th, as you said, to sneak it in before that December 20th selection day. And I can tell you that if the Big Ten is going to be allowed back in the college football playoff, all 10 FBS commissioners and Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick would make that decision. My gut says yes, of course they would let them in. But at the same time, you have to remember that not everybody is playing, right? And it's a shorter season for them to continue. So maybe it's a little bit of discussion, a difficult conversation, but I do think at the end, those commissioners will let them participate in the college football playoff. The question is, can Ohio State win it?
That will start to become the question. We got answers to these questions, then we can actually ask the fun questions. Paul Finebaum, your reaction.
This is a very good day for the Big Ten, Greeny. They have been in the wilderness for 5 weeks and have taken a lot of shots, some justified, some not. But in the end, they looked around, they saw everyone was playing, the SEC, of course, coming next week, and they decided to get back in. I think it was the right call. And I think back to your question about the truncated season, I mean, they don't. If they start on the 24th, they're playing a very dangerous game, but it's worth playing at this point. If they have post moments, they deal with it. In my opinion, as long as the conference has a champion with a reasonable schedule, they are going to be in the playoff. I talked to Bob Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, last Thursday. He said if they play 7 or 8 games, we would be in favor of them being in, and that's why they are making this decision. This is driven in some ways, in a lot of ways, because of Ohio State. They have one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the country. They have one of the best players in Justin Fields. And I think without that, we may not be here today, but Ohio State really, and Ryan Day, the head coach, drove this bus.
Well, let's go back to why you're saying it's a dangerous game. I understand it, but let's make sure that it's clear. If you leave yourself with a 9-week window and you want to play at least 8 games before you get to a conference championship, you're not leaving yourself any margin for error, which suggests that if you have cancellations based on the coronavirus somewhere along the line, you may find yourself with a problem.
Yeah, I think it depends on, and right now, as Heather said, it's either the 17th or the 24th. It may be more likely the 24th because they let this week get away from them. Had they announced it Sunday, they would have had a little more time. But I think I've talked to Mike Loxley of Maryland the other day. I've talked to other coaches. They are ready to come back. It's not like these coaches are living in a vacuum. They're watching all this in real time. So I'm sure the coaches are getting their teams ready to go on the practice field as soon as they get the green light. But ultimately, they will be playing in the college football playoff. Even if they go to 7 games, Greeny, we're splitting hairs here because we don't know how many games anyone is going to play this season based already on the postponements.
Right, that's fair. But the schedule is what the schedule is. Remember, the Big Ten, somewhat now legendarily, released a schedule just a few days before they announced they weren't going to play in the first place. Heather, let me come back to you here. What have you heard from coaches and others you've talked to regarding what they will need to get started again? What will they need to do in order to get their players ready to start playing games sometime in October?
Well, ideally, it's been a 4-week mark, but we've heard from Wisconsin that it could be 3 weeks in order to get them able to physically prepare. Remember, they have been able to do some things in practice. They've had a minimum amount of practice time. But I do think that the key will be the contact, the hitting, and getting out there for a real preseason type practice. They have not had that. And again, I point back to Navy's game against BYU to see just how disastrous a team can look when they don't have the proper amount of practice time or preparation, and that's exactly what they need. But when you have talent as elite as Ohio State does, certainly they can prepare quickly and they would be ready.
All right, outstanding work. Heather Dinich again with the breaking news this morning. And Paul, thank you, that the Big Ten is expected to announce today that they are coming back to play. They will resume sometime in October. The 17th or the 24th seem like the likeliest dates. I'm now being told that October 24th is emerging as the likely date. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.